What's up, everybody? I'm Justin Boyd.
I'm Frank Cooper.
I'm Brittany Pacheco.
I'm George Luna.
And we're the Watchers in the Basement, and this is a
Basement bonus.
bonus basement episode.
Either way.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Game of Thrones. The final episode is Sunday night, and so we're here to offer our final predictions, and we're going to say the word final like 10 times. So, final predictions for Game of Thrones final episode. Let's go. What are we going to talk about?
Let's talk about, we talked about this in our last episode, about Arya's kill list. Basically, everyone on her kill list was dead. Not
because of her.
Not because of her. But George, you talked about there being one person who added.
Yeah, one person added to the kill list. I think it's gonna be Dany.
Okay.
Like, just because I think they wasted too much time, like, on that scene and like showing her, like, going through everything, witnessing firsthand what she's doing, all the destruction. She's like, you know what? She's on my hit list this time.
No.
So.
Do you think that, like, she just puts Dany, she put Daenerys, the breaker of chains?
She writes all
whole
of her
thing?
Titles.
all of her titles. Like, it
Titles.
takes up like 10 pages.
And so at
Titles.
night when she goes to sleep, she
Or, you
recites
know
the
what,
names.
if that Starbucks cup that's over there, she probably
Still
has
have
it
it.
on the back of, is it Starbucks
Right,
cup?
But-
it should say it on. Oh, I saw them as a meme.
Yeah, you did see
Someone
that?
wrote like the whole thing.
Mhm.
But in, like, classic Starbucks, they misspelled Dany.
Yeah. Donnie.
Yeah. Donnie.
Donnie.
So, do we think she's dying? Dany?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she perishes.
Perishes.
I just
So
don't know.
poetic.
That's so
Perish.
Yeah, I'm trying to change my lingo up a little bit. You know?
Oh.
We have a
But
book reader over here.
yeah, you know,
Poindexter over here, dropping the knowledge.
got a
with the-
PhD in urban experience. You know what I'm saying? So,
Urban Shakespeare.
but no, like I think she dies. I don't know if I don't know what the writers are doing, but they give Arya that honor.
No one knows what the writers
No,
are
They're not
yeah.
doing anything.
But they give Arya the honor of killing Dany as well, of killing the Night King. That's just like you talking about Jordan status. I don't know. That's too much for one
I think
character
that's too
in one
much.
season. Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
I think-
I feel
I
like
think
it
that's
should
fine.
be someone else. I feel if Dany is going to die, which I do think it's unnecessary at this moment, I do feel it should be Jon because
It's gonna be Jon.
it has to be Jon for a couple of reasons, in my opinion, because Jon did not battle the Night King in the Battle
Whack.
of Winterfell, which was whack. And I just feel that he needs to take out Dany just for those reasons alone. So.
I agree. I think Jon should kill Dany.
Mhm.
If it is Arya, I'd be okay with it, I guess. I mean, it's just if they can make it work. I don't know if they can do that.
Britt, you had that interesting theory that you just literally, I just heard that you said you think that Arya may be dead because of the.
Oh yeah, that was. So in our last episode, we talked about Arya at the very end of this last war. All this ash is everywhere, literally everywhere. The city is destroyed. King's Landing is pretty much destroyed, and we see this white horse approach Arya. From other sources that I've listened to, that white horse was actually the horse Harry Strickland rode right in the very beginning, and then that sneak attack happened. Drogon and Dany.
But you saw that horse like.
Exactly. The horse was lying down, and I feel it was lying down in such a twisted way that there was no way
weird.
this horse was going to get back up and be a functioning horse. But that horse is actually, as I said, Harry Strickland's horse. Arya has now approached it. She mounts the horse and then takes off. So my theory was, I'm thinking that horse is dead, but Arya sees this horse. What if Arya is dead?
That'd be a stupid death.
That'd be a stupid death.
But it wouldn't
death
make
to me.
sense because everybody in the streets were already dead. Like when Arya gets up, you see dead bodies, you see dead soldiers all over the place. Like wouldn't that be like a counterintuitive to show a dead Arya walking around amongst dead people?
Well, we had a Night King. Maybe she's the Ash Queen.
I mean,
I don't know. That was stupid.
if she's dead, then we don't need to see her in the next episode.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
If she's riding off on the horse to wherever, like, we don't need to see her.
That's true.
And also, like, if they plan on doing something with her down the road, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, if she's dead, she can't do anything. But
That's
I would be
good for her.
okay, like, not seeing her in the finale if they had plans for her character for a spin-off down
Mhm.
the road, which I don't know if they do or not, but
Mhm.
it would make sense to me if they did that.
While we're still talking about Arya and this horse, I saw something on Twitter about it was a missed opportunity to what's that song that Billy Ray Cyrus,
The Old Town
Old
Road.
Town.
The Old Town Road? It was like a missed opportunity to put that soundtrack.
I'm sure someone made it.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure. I'll look for it.
But you
I'm
know,
sure someone
but
made
if
it.
Game of Thrones went back to edit out the coffee cup from one scene, maybe they'll go back in and upload the song and have it playing as Arya rides off into the sun.
That'll be too hilarious. But no, but I think poetically it has to be John, because throughout this whole last 2 seasons, John keeps echoing, "You're my queen. I'm loyal to you. I'm loyal to you." Well,
That's his only lines, right?
yeah, this is on lines like the last 3 episodes,
Yeah.
and like you kind of see it all come to a head in last week when after they surrendered, King Lennon surrendered, Danny went ahead and blasted everybody up, and you look at John looking around in confusion like, what have I done, and why am I abiding to this queen, and she's creating all this destruction? This is not what I signed up for. It's on his face. He said more silently on his face than he has all season long.
Yeah.
As far as like actually talking. So.
But you know, Danny has also made a lot of short jokes about John, so I would probably want to get revenge too about that. Speaking as a short,
In the show?
Well, she's talked about John being
Oh.
Yeah, she's
basically being
made
short.
references.
Remember,
Yeah.
her and Sansa were talking, and
Yeah.
and John was the only other person that Danny feels so strongly about, and Sansa asked, well, who was the first? And Daenerys said, someone much taller,
Oh.
referring to Drogo or
Dang.
Dario.
It's cold.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So if John's found out about those short jokes, he needs to take revenge. He really does.
Go ham.
So y'all need to watch out. Make short jokes about me.
Never have, never will.
No.
Aw, that's
Never
good.
will.
At
That's
least another
good.
day. Yeah.
So we talked about this too in the last episode. Is the Iron Throne still in existence with all that fire,
I think it,
all that
it has to
rubble,
be.
all that
It
destruction?
shouldn't be, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure, that's probably the one thing that's standing from that
Mhm.
structure. It's just there on the ground.
Yeah.
Like walking
Yeah.
to it.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of worthless now, but I
Mhm.
mean, I think it's still there.
Yeah.
They got to show it.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Will Danny actually get the Iron Throne
For like a second.
for like a second?
I think all the prophecies that we've seen, all the visions that we've seen, have been pretty much accurate. And from season 2, when the house on dying, when she's walking up to the throne, she takes a step forward and she walks away.
Right.
I think that symbolism to either saying that somebody stops her from getting to the throne, or she has changed her heart, or she realizes all the destruction that she's had done over the last episode is okay, this is not worth it. You know, so.
Yep.
I think she sits down and she's like, "Oh, it's not a recliner. I burned this place for just a
Or an
chair.
actual chair.
It's not even that comfortable.
No.
You know,
It's not a lazy boy.
it's not a lazy boy.
No, those are
Yeah.
comfortable though.
Yeah.
Those are really comfortable.
I think we'll see her in the throne for a little bit, and then I don't know where the episode really goes. I mean,
If Danny doesn't get the throne by one way or another, who else do y'all see potentially getting the throne? Let's say the throne actually is still there. Frank, who do you think should be on the throne?
Potentially, John. But I can see John also taking the throne and just dissembling the 7 kingdoms
Right.
to where it's individually ran.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Are there any other prize candidates? Most of the candidates are dead at this point, right?
I mean, at this point, it's kind of like fair game. If Daenerys doesn't get the throne because she's killed,
yeah,
John rightfully should,
yeah.
but
he won't do it.
But he won't do it.
Mhm.
So who else could it be?
It's gonna be Bran.
It's gonna be Bran.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just gonna. I don't know. It's gonna be Bran.
is this your prediction?
Yeah.
Really?
I think Bran's gonna do it.
I
Do you
mean,
have any other predictions for the?
it's
for the final?
appropriate though because he's already in a chair.
Yeah, he is in a chair.
But I find it weird because
Now they make it out of
I've been
iron.
in- But I find that weird because in season 7, Sansa, when Bran comes back to Winterfell, Sansa's like, "Well, you're Lord of Winterfell. This is yours by right." And he's
Mhm.
like, "I'm not Lord of anything. I'm just a 3-hour
He does
raven."
say that, but
Yeah.
I also want to point out when in this season when they were still at Winterfell that Tyrion wanted to hear about Bran's journey
Mhm.
and how he got to be the three-eyed raven, and their last night, basically, I guess their last night in Winterfell, Tyrion basically says to Bran, you know, you're lucky that you don't want anything anymore, and maybe based on what Varys has been saying for the longest, RIP,
Yep.
that those who
person
are the
doesn't
best to rule are those who don't want to rule.
But how many 3-Eyed Ravens in history have walked away from ruling? Like Brendan Rivers had no interest
Right.
when he left. He
I
went
mean,
to the
Maester
Night Watch.
Aemon was the same. Well, I mean, granted, he wasn't a 3-eyed raven,
Yeah,
but
he was
Maester
a
Aemon
raven,
also,
yeah.
you know, walked away too. But what I'm saying is, just with that philosophy of the best people who should rule are those who actually don't want to rule. So in that case, it could be Jon, it
Mhm.
could be Bran,
Mhm.
it could be a number of people.
Mhm.
I can kind of
Hot
see
pie.
Hot Pie. Yeah, you can't abandon Hot Pie. That was your
Ah. I just want to see him this season. That's it. That's the one person I do care about, and I hope he's doing great.
Okay, Tyrion. Could he potentially
Nah,
take the throne?
He's done.
I don't think he wants it either. And granted, from what Danny said last week,
Mhm.
if you betray her one more time, it'll be your last time. Well,
He's dying.
He betrayed her. I
Again.
don't see how.
Is that by letting Jamie go?
Yeah, by releasing Jamie
Mhm.
against her wishes. And
Okay.
so I don't see how he survives this. Maybe there's a trial for him for betraying Danny.
Oh well, that would become
be-
full circle.
Yeah, I don't know who will sit on the trial, but I mean, I think that could happen as well.
Why was Jamie held captive?
Because he tried to break through their
Why not kill him? Because like
Mercy.
she burned Varys.
Yeah.
Mercy.
Like you know that Jamie is leaving. Well, and we didn't know this, but we found out he left because he was going to be with Cersei, potentially help her in
Yeah.
this battle, whatever. Why wouldn't you kill him? Why would you keep him
Prisoner.
prisoner?
No.
I mean, simply just so they could have the scene with Tyrion.
Maybe because
Right.
he could
Doesn't
be
make sense,
he
you
could
know?
be of some value because he is Cersei's brother.
That's true.
You know, he left willingly, her in King's Landing to come fight for the North, and then he obviously left to return to her. But that's probably strategic to keep him captive because they knew he was trying to return to
That's true.
Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, you could have very well killed him, but maybe they could have
I mean, they
negotiated.
could have killed
and-
him and said, "Well, he died in the Battle of Winterfell."
But
They
see,
could have
I
used
don't-
him as like bait. Like
Yeah,
it's an
exactly,
Asante
bait.
type thing.
Yeah.
But see, I disagree because that's logic, and Danny has not used logic at all in the last
Neither
2
have the
years.
writers, so.
I mean, because I mean, they essentially won King's Landing when they surrendered.
Yeah.
And the bell rung, and she said, you know, screw all that. I'm gonna burn everybody to a crisp.
Mhm.
KFC Popeyes in this mug. And like
Extra
that
crispy.
makes so that makes sense, but that's too much logic. That doesn't make. I wouldn't give Danny the benefit of the doubt of her planning that out.
I mean, even so, because we're talking about Jamie and being held captive, I'm a little surprised that even the Unsullied agreed to Tyrion's commands of "let me see him." Do they not know that Tyrion and Jamie are brothers? Do they not know that Tyrion and Jamie have tried to help each other out in the past?
Look, they know, but like
He is the
Danny didn't get
Oh,
that.
I-
order.
that's
and a
true.
queen. But
Yeah, Danny
Yeah.
didn't get that order. He's basically the second
he's
second
second
command.
command, right.
So that's what he asked. Like, what was it Danny that gave the order? And
Yeah.
he said no. He's like, okay, well, let me see, because I'm second in command. So that's
Right.
why that's
No,
why
that
they
makes
passed.
sense.
Yeah.
What happens to Grey Worm now? Like, he's a walk card here. Like, he lost his love.
Yeah.
He basically lost his mind. I mean,
Yep.
he went along with and followed Danny through the gates of hell and
Mm-hmm.
murking everybody. What happens with him? Like, is he in the same state of mind to like?
Do you think that maybe because while Jon and Northernmen were fighting the Lannisters with Grey Worm's like going all crazy, and then he
Yeah.
stops and turns and looks at Jon. Do you think that maybe
They're gonna fight.
they're gonna fight?
Yeah, I think they're
Yeah,
fighting.
because
John kills him.
I think so.
because you see like two oppositions going head to head.
Yeah.
And like you see two ideologies. Like John's like, this is wrong, and Grey was like, well, I'm doing this for my queen. My queen goes left, I'm gonna go left with her. And this is like, that has to come to a head, and that's why I think John goes ahead and does the deed to Danny and kill her. And I think Grey Worm is gonna try to take revenge.
What if maybe what could happen is a very similar scenario that happened with the Mad King when he brought the Starks to King's Landing and then killed them right there. What do you think of maybe Dany is, kind of taking on that role of her father and has Jon there? Because she's said that Jon betrayed her by revealing his secret to the family. What if she, in King's Landing on the throne, tries to have him murdered right there and then. And then is all hell gonna break loose once again? Is Dany gonna reveal to Jon that she's gonna go after his family or Sansa or somebody? Because if it wasn't for the fact that Jon told Sansa, Sansa told Tyrion, Tyrion told Varys and all that other stuff. She's out for fire and blood. I mean, we've already seen the fire, in this past episode.
Yeah.
She could potentially be out for blood, and it could be with Jon's family.
So you think Dany takes Jon hostage and kills him?
I think that could be a very possible scenario, but I think it's gonna maybe be at that point that Jon is gonna turn on her and obviously see her for who she really is, and then that's his motive to kill her, because then because if she reveals, I'm going after your family or I'm gonna have you killed, yeah, he's gonna.
I could definitely see that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Dany's off the deep end, and if anything, I think if Jon does stop Dany, it will be because of Sansa Arya and his family.
Yeah, it's gonna be because of his family. He
Yeah,
wants to
because
protect
of
them, and
nothing else.
if she's gonna threaten him, he's not gonna take that.
Because I mean, granted or not, whether he's Aegon Targaryen or not, he grew up with Sansa. He grew up with Arya. He grew up in the North.
That's
So
a start.
yeah, it's a
That's a
start.
start, right.
It's the same speech that Jon gave Theon in season 7. Like, you're a Greyjoy and a Stark. Well,
Yep.
I mean, now we know he's a Stark and he's a
And a
Targaryen.
Right.
Yeah.
What happens to Drogon?
I think
She
he dies
dies.
when Dany dies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the one entity, once she dies,
Yeah.
I think he gets so depressed, he doesn't eat. I think he withers away.
What if he turns on her?
I thought about that theory too.
Mm.
But I kind of disagree with it because the fact that they, like what y'all are saying, Drogon and Dany are basically one entity. And but I'm thinking if Dany were to die, if Drogon senses that now they're going to possibly come after him, he might just like fly away and fly to Valyria or something like that, which he's already done before. We have seen that, and maybe he just lives his days in Valyria.
But there was a scene this year, I think it's the second episode, first episode, when he looks at Jon. Was there some kind of like I approve of you, or I don't know
Why are you
what
kissing
that.
my mama?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought at the time, but maybe there was something else like I approve of you as
I don't
as a
know.
worthy person to ride a dragon into
Right.
I don't know. I could see him turning on her. That would be kind of like. Of course, can she be burned? I don't think she could be burned.
No,
She
she
could be
can't.
eaten.
She would eat though, but she can be burned.
They wouldn't eat her though.
Yeah,
That'd
but that's why it goes back to the whole with Jon probably killing her and probably using, his sword and
Yeah.
that'd be the end of it.
Yep.
So
If Jon does kill her, does Jon go on trial?
Nope. He takes a black ghost to the north.
I can see that.
But there is no blood. There is no Night's Watch.
No, but
He'll become the only Lord Commander,
The Lord
and
Commander, yeah.
that's it.
No.
He lives by himself up there,
But
and
Frank,
no one bother him.
you know this.
The lone
To
commander.
be
The lump. Oh, that's good.
to be part of
Yeah.
the Night's Watch was like an honor. It was like a militant force,
Yeah.
and it was over the course of years that it turned into it's a punishment. If you were a murderer, a raper, a thief, that kind of thing, you were sent to take the black instead of dying. So maybe because he that's where he really felt most connected. As a bastard in Winterfell, he wasn't really accepted by everybody, really. But when he was at Castle Black, granted, he kind of had like this high horse mentality of like, I'm better than everybody. But he paved his own way as a member of the Night's Watch. I can actually see that happening.
I'd
And,
like
and
to
he
do
could
that, man.
rebuild
Just
it.
hang out
and
with Tormund and Ghost,
Ghost.
every now and then.
Uh,
But the thing about Game of Thrones we've seen over the last 8 years of the show is that it's all about breaking the wheel. It's all about changing the old guard. Like we've seen in the 8 years, we've seen a female queen lead the Seven Kingdoms. We've seen the wildlings cross the wall and join the North. We've seen a bastard rise to power as king of the North. Like we've seen all of these things that weren't traditional things, changing a new way. These new liberal ways of thinking. I don't see Jon going back to that because I mean Game of Thrones is all about breaking the wheel, right? And like you see all these things,
I think
these
he liked
always
it.
been broken.
Like back then, I think he liked being there.
yeah, I agree with that.
Like he's gonna be happier then than he's gonna be over in King's Landing or anywhere else.
Yeah. I agree with that. Just because like he paved that way for himself and like that was his identity. being
A Lord Commander.
a Lord Commander, even though he did
Or
say.
getting to that point, just
Yeah.
his whole journey. So I'm sure it's something that he's still gonna think about.
And he could rebuild it back to what it was, that prestigious,
Yeah.
like militant force that
There's no
once
war
was.
either, guys.
That's true.
But there's no
So-
real threat now compared now that the Knights.
Unless they make like a random
No,
another baby Night King or something
Yeah.
in the background.
Oh, yeah.
I'd hate that ending. That'd
But
be
see,
so wrong.
that's if there's no real threat, then why have a nice watch?
And chill, you got a big wall there. You got a nice
You still
castle
have
to yourself.
You still have threats like coming over maybe from Essos, but what I'm saying is like they're
This
in
is the
Westeros.
East.
I know, but that's not to say they can't jump on ships and then come over to Westeros. What I'm saying is there's no real threat coming from the north like the Night King. I mean, you have the wildlings, but whatever remaining wildlings there are, I'm sure they've learned that Jon Snow is a friend to them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they are welcomed to come to Westeros and do their thing. Maybe. I don't know. But as Ramsay Bolton, as much as I hate quoting him, if you think this is a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He's a great character though. He's really good. I mean,
yeah.
he was like a smart character too.
He was.
I mean, he was terrible, like to what he did
Yeah.
to people, but like he.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he would have fit in this season anyway because he was calculated. He had like
Mhm.
plans. This season, like, there's no plan.
No.
They're just,
None at all.
No plan.
they're just like, hey, cool. When are we done with this? We're almost good.
So, as we know, the titles of the episode is not revealed until after the episode airs. George, what do you think the title will be of this final episode?
Get back to me. I'm thinking.
Okay.
Go first.
All right, who wants to go? Anyone?
I think about it.
Oh, okay.
I think
No pressure.
no, there's a couple titles that you
Okay.
can go with. I think like A Song of Ice and Fire,
Mhm.
that would work.
That would-
Fire and Blood would work.
Yes, that could work.
I think the one that I would go with that I feel the strongest about, just based on the last couple episodes,
Mm-hmm.
is Rise of the Dothraki. That's a good one because we just every week there's more of them, and they're
And you know, too, to your point, from the preview that we saw, Daenerys is basically walking to not greet, but there's this open
Yeah.
space, and you see so many Unsullied. I didn't realize how many Unsullied still existed. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of like what you said.
Yeah.
Every episode, we're getting more and more of people that we thought were dead, and they're not.
Her army, it's like if you've seen Gremlins from the '80s movie, you can't feed Unsullied Dothraki after dark or they multiply. And they spend a lot of time in the dark, so you got a lot of them. And
That's hilarious.
They're like Bebe's kids. Remember that?
Bebe's, yeah.
We don't die, we multiply.
yeah,
That's what they are. They just multiplying by the dozens.
What do you think the title's gonna be?
Hot Pot's Revenge.
Hot Pie's Revenge.
Oh my god.
That sounds like a separate series or
That
something.
would be.
He comes in
Yeah.
and just takes everything and just slaying people with pies, man. It just goes on the
Yeah.
throne and becomes
He
a guy.
pretends to be their friend, and
Yeah.
he's gonna feed all of them, then just poisons everyone.
Pie is a woman's weapon, not poison.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because
Mhm.
apparently this was something that's the internet's been buzzing about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Varys in the opening of last season?
Yeah. Last
When
When we,
episode,
I'm sorry, last
Mhm.
episode
Mhm.
talked about you mentioned about he sending letters to people. Has he heard anything? And actually, we were kind of all wrong about it. The reason why he's having this little girl go to check on Daenerys and see if she's eaten and all that other stuff, and she's scared of being watched, is because he's using her to try to poison Dany.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
A
Yeah.
lot of people did
Makes
not
total
catch
sense.
that. I didn't catch that
I
at
didn't
all.
catch it either. I
I
would've
got it
thought-
afterwards. Like after
Yeah.
after I read something on it, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
That's really smart.
I took it as out of sheer concern. It didn't click that, oh, he's actually trying to get her out of the picture and
Mhm.
put John in this role or something like that. So,
Too bad that did not work.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Grandmaster Pycelle said in season 1 when Ned asked about Jon Arryn's poisoning, he was like, poison's used by cravens, eunuchs, and women. That's what he said. And
Oh,
Varys is a eunuch.
That's a
so,
great callback.
Yeah, so it's,
you always had the good callbacks. Like you remember the
He's
stuff.
watched this show
I'm-
like
I'm
10,000
obsessed,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
easily.
Hopefully this
Still
doesn't
obsessed?
ruin it for you.
The season 1 through 6, yes.
Exactly.
In my mind, Season 7, season 8 is like the joy with the Wizards. It doesn't
Yeah,
exist in my mind.
That's the I was thinking the same thing. It's like the first 6 seasons were Jordan with the Bulls.
Yes.
7, 8 were Jordan with the Wizards. I mean, Jordan with the Wizards is still a good player.
All star.
Every once in a while would have a 50-point game or
Right.
have a hit a game-winning shot. But
Yeah.
they're also that's where he had like 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, came off the bench, so it wasn't fun.
Okay.
Um,
So I agree with you on possible titles. It could either be A Song of Ice and Fire, which would be kind of like a really, here's a bow, you know, there you
Yeah.
go. I do.
Here's a bow. There you go. That's another episode too. Yeah.
Fire and Blood's also very good because the opening, the title for season 1, episode 1 was Winter is Coming, which is the House Start words.
Right.
Fire and Blood is
The
House Targaryen.
Mhm.
So that would, you know, be a nice kind of ending because in ways it still represents Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, there you go.
Boom.
That's probably what it is. Right there. I think she just figured it out. I think you're right about that.
The other thing I think it would be stupid, but I'm looking at the back of this book boxes, Game of Thrones. I mean, the show is obviously called
Just call it a
Game of Thrones, but
yeah.
it could just be a Game of Thrones or the Game of Thrones or something
Right.
like that.
The Throne.
Iron Throne.
I can see that. The throne. The,
Or what?
The
How about
Throne.
this? How about this? Queen of the Ashes. That could be
That
something.
could be. Yeah.
That could be something because she's always said,
Yeah.
"I'm not here to be the queen of the ashes," and it's a title that she's rightfully earned at this
Yeah.
point. So
I'm gonna go with the random number that always pops up whenever you watch it. It's been random every time. You've never seen that? Online
like
it shows up on
73.
HBO. Yeah, it
It'll be
shows up like
73.
73 or it shows random numbers though. It's not always.
Wait, what are you
73.
talking
No, it's
about?
in order. It's in
No,
order.
online
Really?
on HBO Go.
okay.
They like it's a random number that always pops up before the title.
Oh,
Like,
because
mine never shows,
that's,
like-
that's the episode itself. That's the
The-
73rd episode.
Like it'll be the same.
No, one of mine said 69.
Well, because a few weeks ago it was.
So that wouldn't be episode 69. That would have been episode.
No, so the first episode of this season was 68, right? Because there were 60 episodes the first 6 seasons. There were
I
7.
forgot there was not 10.
Yeah.
I hate you guys.
Yeah, so same thing with like I watch.
I forgot there wasn't 10
Yeah.
episodes last season, and then there's no.
I watch HBO through
Oh, that's
Amazon
ruined.
Prime, and
Well, there went that theory.
yeah. So every episode when they first show,
So why
it'll
they
say
put random numbers on here?
it'll say Game of Thrones episode, or it'll say 67, 68,
Yeah,
69,
that makes
70.
that
Yeah.
makes a lot of
So
sense.
this Sunday would be 73.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then
Well, that'll be the title.
later that night they'll put the title up in place
They
of
will.
that. So
They will.
It's just gonna say we're sorry.
We're sorry.
Sorry we ruined the series.
Oh, all right, guys, we got to wrap up. So,
any more predictions?
any more predictions? Any final thoughts? Titles?
Titles.
God, that was strong.
God, that was strong.
You do
That
so
would
well.
be a good title right
Yeah.
there.
So well.
Robert Baratheon was right about the Targaryens.
Yeah.
Yep.
it
You know,
was.
He tried to
probably
kill her as a little kid.
Exactly.
They should have let him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
be alive.
Or what if the title could be "Let It Be Fear," or just "Fear"?
That's become like your favorite.
That's like my favorite quote now. I think I said that to you the
Yeah.
other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what we were talking about. I was like, fine, let it be fear then.
Yeah.
All right.
George, got anything else?
No, I'm good.
George R.R. Luna,
Yeah.
our noted.
I'm sure we'll
author
do
here.
another series about that later. We'll do a little
Yeah.
short video about that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm sure we will.
George R.R. Luna. We'll do
Cool.
that.
Frank, you got anything else?
No, man. Hopefully we end strong from a very up and down season. So.
Oh, okay. While on that note, if after this season is over, are y'all gonna go back and binge watch, rewatch?
Mm-mm.
I'm done with this show.
No, I'm done too.
I'm done with this show.
I don't
I'll never
believe-
watch the show again.
I don't believe that.
I'm done for
I'm
right
not gonna
now.
watch the show again.
Ever again.
Ever
Ever
again.
again. You'll
No.
never go back.
No,
I don't believe it.
I don't have a reason to.
Wow.
It's okay. It's not.
There's shows
I've
that
been-
I will go back and watch, like that I think are funny, like The Office. Like I will
Oh, yeah.
always watch The Office. It makes me laugh. There's no reason for me to watch the show anymore. If I know what it's gonna end like, I don't care.
But I mean, the first 5 or 6.
Yeah, they're
seasons
great.
Were really good.
But I know what's gonna happen.
well, yeah. But
So no, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm done.
Aw.
After this,
I'm gonna
this
rewatch
episode-
it. I'm actually gonna buy the box set. I'm gonna rewatch it.
what
It
about
is what
the
it is.
prequel that's coming out? The long.
I'll
Night?
watch that.
You watch that?
I'll watch
Yeah,
that
we'll watch
stuff.
it. We'll watch
I'm not watching this show.